After weeks of silence, she sent me a message that froze me in place. This isn't distance, it's freedom. I stared at the screen for what felt like hours, my thumb hovering over the keyboard. I typed without thinking. Then stay free forever. And I hit send. It wasn't the first time she had disappeared like this. She'd pull away suddenly, retreating into some private world I couldn't touch, leaving only cold echoes in her absence. But this time something was different. I felt the emptiness in my chest deepen, and not for a fleeting second. I realized I had been seeing through a mask all along. Weeks ago, things had started subtly. She'd come home late, claiming work or errands, yet there was a weight in her silence that made my skin crawl. I noticed the phone always tucked a little too close to her body, the laugh that didn't reach her eyes when she spoke of friends I hadn't met. I had wanted to trust her, to give her space, but the gnawing doubt never left me. I remember the night it all began to unravel. She said she needed to clear her mind and went out. Hours passed. I couldn't sleep. My stomach churned with suspicion and fear, but mostly heartbreak. The kind that seeps into your bones, heavy and relentless. When she returned, I asked, almost shakily, where she had been. Her eyes, wide and unreadable, met mine and she whispered, "I just needed air." But I knew. I knew the truth, and it burned sharper than anything I'd felt before. The following days were a nightmare of half-truths and silences. I would catch her texting someone in secret, quickly hiding the phone, pretending nothing happened. Each lie was a splinter in my mind, a quiet torment I couldn't escape. I wondered where I had failed, what I had done to make her search for freedom elsewhere. I replayed every conversation, every argument, every moment she looked away while I spoke. And then the messages started. Little notes, carefully crafted, that were meant to feel innocent. "Sorry I'm distant. Work has been crazy. Can't wait to see you." But the tone was wrong, mechanical. It wasn't her. And then one evening I found it, the chat on her phone that wasn't meant for me. The words were sharp and intimate, the kind that belongs in a bed I wasn't in. Shock, anger, nausea, it all collided. I left the room and sat on the edge of the bed, trembling, my heart hammering like a war drum. I didn't confront her that night. I didn't shout, didn't beg, didn't cry. I sat in silence, feeling the betrayal pulse through every vein. It was the quiet knowing that hurt the most, the realization that she had already begun living a life I wasn't invited to. Days later, when she finally spoke, it was with that text. "This isn't distance, it's freedom." I wanted to scream at her, to hurl years of love and trust like a weapon, but something in me snapped differently. I realized that revenge didn't have to be loud or dramatic. It could be quiet, calm and unyielding. Could be letting go, walking away and taking my dignity with me. So I typed back simply, "Then stay free forever." I didn't block her or follow her. I didn't send her photos of new life, new love, like some melodramatic message of triumph. I walked away silently, carrying my heartbreak with me, letting it fuel me instead of consume me. I filled my days with work, with old friends, with books I had abandoned. I felt the sharp pangs of loneliness, yes, but also the thrill of autonomy, the first taste of real freedom I had known in years. Sometimes, late at night, I imagine her reading that message, the cold finality in it. I hope she feels it not as a threat but as a mirror. Freedom isn't a gift you give yourself at someone else's expense. It's something earned by integrity, by courage. And by that standard, she was already gone. Months passed. I moved to a new apartment, started running in the mornings, joined a small photography group. Simple, tangible ways to reclaim pieces of myself I hadn't realized were lost. I kept her memory like a scar, visible, permanent, but no longer raw. I allowed myself to remember her not as a victim or a villain, but as a chapter, a lesson written in heartbreak. One evening, a mutual friend mentioned her. She had moved, started seeing someone else, lived loudly and freely. I smiled, and it wasn't bitter. It wasn't angry. It was relief. Relief that I no longer needed to watch, no longer needed to hope, no longer needed to burn with silent fury. I had survived the storm she left behind, and I had built something steady on the ruins. I realized then that the truest revenge is not exposure, not confrontation, not proof of guilt. The truest revenge is thriving. It's living fully, honestly, and unapologetically, without the shadow of the person who tried to break you looming over your every step. I don't think of her much now, except as a reminder of my own resilience. Every time I feel the sting of betrayal creep in, I take a deep breath and remember that message, the one I sent calmly with no hysteria. Then stay free forever, because freedom is not hers to define, and peace is mine.